One monster continues to haunt Godzilla no matter where his story is to be told. From the Showa era, through the Heisei and Millennium eras, and now into the modern day with Legendary's own Monsterverse, no other kaiju or titan has earned the title of Godzilla's true nemesis more than King Ghidorah. The most recent encounters for these two titans at the time of this video was Godzilla King of the Monsters, so I thought I'd take a look at these two kaiju as they stand against one another. Now, spoiler alert here for the few who still haven't seen the film yet, but Godzilla not only beats King Ghidorah, he kills it, giving himself the title of Earth's Alpha Titan. Yet a few would still argue that Ghidorah, before its demise, was the true Alpha, and like always, needed more than just Godzilla to take it out. I'm here today to tell you that I believe that Ghidorah truly is the more powerful Titan, even when compared to Godzilla, yet the Big G is still the Alpha, and King of the monsters, and I'll do my best to explain how an alpha like Godzilla can consistently beat a deadlier and more powerful enemy like King Ghidorah. Lately, it seems like there has been a lot of talk online gloating about just how powerful Godzilla was in 2019's King of the Monsters, and fans should be excited. Legendary's Godzilla was no joke, even when compared to his earlier Toho cousins. Not to mention, his upgrades in 2019 were off the scale. With the eventual defeat of Ghidorah, along with the fun that everyone is having at the expense of Kevin, I don't think that enough of us are giving due respect to the boys that make up the space titan King Ghidorah. A kaiju from outer space that goes planet to planet, destroying life and enslaving other giant creatures. By sheer size alone, it dwarfs Godzilla or any of the newly awakened titans. I think even when you look closer at King of the Monsters that you'll notice that Godzilla was actually pretty lucky to get out of that film alive. In the first match between the two, Ghidorah was just awakened from the ice and was possibly disoriented after coming out of a long slumber. It immediately was confronted by Monarch's G-Team after being blown out of its frozen state, and as soon as it was able to wake up and realize where it is and what the heck was going on, Godzilla would appear, going on the offensive. The fight here was pretty evenly matched until Ghidorah flew away. It's unclear if this was because it thought it was overmatched, or if it was simply avoiding the situation, having just woken up. However, I'd tend to go with the latter. In their next encounter in the ocean near Mexico, the three-headed titan would be surprised by Godzilla and pulled under the water in an ambush attack. A flying creature like Ghidorah has no business fighting in the water against an aquatic enemy like Godzilla, and you could even see the terror in its faces as it tried to escape. If it wasn't for the launch of the Oxygen Destroyer, this would have been an easy victory for Godzilla, as stated on Twitter by Michael Dougherty. But with the attack, the fight would end prematurely, with Godzilla winning the battle up to that point, although the missile didn't seem to affect Ghidorah, all the while doing enough damage to Godzilla to take him out of the fight effectively for years. In response, Serizawa would deliver the nuclear warhead to juice up Godzilla, and the Big G would return once more to face off with King Ghidorah in Boston. Here we would basically see a modern take on Burning Godzilla, with what at first was called Fire Godzilla but is now officially called Burning Godzilla, just like the Heisei one before it. We would even have the same thermonuclear countdown that was seen in Godzilla vs. Destoroyah. The burning stage is likely the strongest kaiju power-up to ever be used by Godzilla, comparable only to the Kaiser stage in Final Wars. Ghidorah would receive its own power-up via the city's power grid, but I don't think that you could compare the energy that it would give the Flying Titan against the energy that Godzilla would receive from either the nuclear warhead or Mothra. After releasing a charged up electrical blast that took chunks out of the Big G's face, the Titan would carry Godzilla into the clouds and drop him down onto the surface below, hoping to kill him, and he almost succeeded, if it weren't for the intervention of Mothra. In her now standard sacrificial fashion, she would go down in a blaze of glory to the gravity beams of death, in turn giving her life force to Godzilla, giving us Burning Godzilla, which we already had, but forget about that, this is the newly improved Burning G. But there is a part in this fight that I think many fans are skipping over or just not talking about. Ghidorah had just dropped Godzilla, a fall that may have killed a standard G that wasn't juiced up. But that's beside the point. Godzilla did survive, and it was long enough for him to get boosted yet again by Mothra. However, before this transfer of life energy could fully take hold, the Golden Demise was already on top of Godzilla, twisting him up in a pose familiar to that famous scene from the Heisei era. We know that in many other iterations of King Ghidorah that one of its best offensive weapons is the ability to absorb energy from other kaiju. And we now know that the Monsterverse version of Ghidorah can do this as well. If you look closely, you can even see the red colored energy from Mothra start to flow down each neck of Ghidorah, changing its eyes into the same glowing color. Just imagine if the evil titan finished absorbing all of that power. Not only would it take in Mothra's life force, and if able to use it, possibly become burning Ghidorah, but it would also take in Godzilla's life force as well, so there's no telling how earth-shattering the power could have been. Luckily for the Big G, in the very next scene, Mark Russell, Kyle Chandler's character, states that they need to distract Ghidorah so that it doesn't kill Godzilla. We then see that they're able to pull the three-headed titan away for several minutes, giving Godzilla enough time to be able to compose himself and get upright, fully transforming into burning Godzilla. Now, some say that Godzilla could have just used an atomic pulse to break free of the grip, as he did in the Heisei era. But it looked to me that if Ghidorah would have just kept siphoning off that energy, and had not been distracted, that Godzilla would not have achieved the burning form entirely in order to put out a Mothra-powered pulse, let alone a standard one. Now, I won't argue that this new form of burning Godzilla isn't one of the most powerful stages that Godzilla has ever achieved in any film universe, but I also think that it was the humans that made it possible for him to achieve this level before being taken out. It is because of this fact that consistently Godzilla needs the help of either the humans and or other kaiju in order to defeat the three-headed monster that I can say with confidence that King Ghidorah is the most powerful titan so far in the Monsterverse, as is the case in the Toho universe as well. However, no fan of the Big G should get upset if King Ghidorah happens to be the more powerful titan either, which is just my opinion, so take it how you will. But I believe the evidence does back me up here. Yet even so, Godzilla has always been able to win the day, a true characteristic of an alpha. Their past fighting history shows us that sheer size and power can only go so far, and that it takes much more to take the throne from an alpha. Ghidorah may be enormous and overpowering on both land and in the air, giving Godzilla only the water as a setting where he could hold the advantage. Yet an alpha like Godzilla does not fight with rage like Ghidorah. He learns from his mistakes and searches for his enemy's weak points. In battle, he remains calm and collected, using ambush techniques and other fight tactics, along with patience, looking for the right openings. Ghidorah's main advantage, the three heads each blasting gravity beams, would also lead to indecision and a lack of organization. While Godzilla is intelligently coexisting with the humans and other titans to fight alongside with, Ghidorah is having a hard enough time acting as one single unit. Rodan did fight by his side, but it was more of a case of dominance after their fight, and not a true companionship like Mothra and Godzilla have here, or the group dynamic that Rodan, Mothra, and Godzilla all shared in their other fights with King Ghidorah in the Toho universe. This is why the Big G consistently beats a more powerful King Ghidorah, and why he was able to kill him in King of the Monsters. An alpha always finds a way. And there you have it, G-fans. In my opinion, King Ghidorah may be the most powerful, but the combined skills of Godzilla have him firmly in place as the planet's true alpha titan. So who do you guys think is the most powerful titan so far in the Monsterverse? Godzilla or Ghidorah? Do you think Godzilla could beat Ghidorah on land with no assistance from humans or other titans, and without any power-ups? And what do you think about the idea of a burning King Ghidorah? I do admit, there may be some force that blocks Mothra's energy from fully charging up Ghidorah through those draining bites on Godzilla, due to them not having the same kind of link that she and Godzilla have. Even so, most Godzilla fans will recognize the Mothra part of the Burning Godzilla stage here in the Monsterverse as an homage to what I like to call the Supercharged Godzilla stage in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, where instead of Mothra giving up her life force to Godzilla, it would be Fire Rodan instead. So I guess one could imagine a scenario where a fallen Titanus Rodan, if still under the influence of Ghidorah, may give up its life force to the three-headed titan. Again, these two most likely don't share the same link, but I wouldn't rule it out and I would love to see it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the subject and who you see as the alpha and who you see as the powerhouse. Thanks for watching, everyone. Your likes, shares, comments, and subscriptions go a long way towards helping the channel grow. Thanks again, and I hope to see you next time.